and welcome to a Honda CB200 video. It has been ages since I was able to get out and have a play on the old CB200, but where I left it from last time, the yoke's all finished up, all cleaned up, ready to go in, etc. Painting is sort of done. I'd have liked to get in here a bit more, etc. There's a little bit of the undercoat, the primer still visible, etc. But the weather just turned on me, and I've got no facility to paint it. So it's okay for now. We'll get that back on. Dial dishes are in, but the sort of the seals, the cushions for it are in a very bad state, and I've been trying to rack my brain. One of them's okay, so this one's seems to be okay, but still not great. So I was racking my brains on how could I make some of these, and I've got some thin foam to try and cut some out, etc. And then I managed to find some new ones. So unbagging, there we are. These I hope should be correct. Not 100% convinced, but then I'm not even convinced these are the right ones, to be honest. But there's the part number. So yeah, so there we are. Two of them. That's cool. Talking these, the feedback I've had from some of the subscribers, and thank you again for your comments, much appreciated, is to use a heat gun to heat up this lip around here, and then to gently fold the plastic back. Yeah, just gently fold that plastic back. So it looks like it's been melted on to seal it closed. So if I can get that nice and warm, and hopefully I can peel this lip back to get this open, so I can get in there, clean and de-corrode that in there, and sort that out, because both of them really need a good clean up. So thanks again for your comments on that. I will give that a go at some point. So the mission, hopefully in this video, is to get the yoke back into the bike, forks on, and wheel on specifically, because the bike has been propped up for absolutely ages, and every time family members come through I am fearful the bike's going to fall over on them. So I need to get this sorted out. So I'm going to try and get this on, yoke on, forks on, wheel on, and handlebars and those kind of bits. I had another set of these powder coated, so I might try and dig out the powder coated ones, because I doubt I'm going to be able to paint in the temperatures we've got here right now. So yeah, so we'll look at that. So that's the mission: yoke and forks and wheel. Let's crack on. So before I put it all together, I thought I'd just quickly give the chrome a bit of a polish. It only needs a little bit, so I think it's just going to be the soft wheel. This is just a simple little kit. I've got a few of them for different. This one's for chrome and plated, etc. I've got one for coppers and soft metals, and then one for steels and those kinds of things. So with any kind of polished part, etc., I like to use this stuff. It's called Renaissance Wax, micro crystalline wax polish. Very good. I use it on my silver, etc. Very good at preventing tarnish, and little tip for your silver, if your skin is a bit sensitive to silver jewellery, use this to coat the jewellery item, leave it for a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds as it were, minute max, and then just like polish it off. You get a nice shiny glistening finish as it were. Clean the item beforehand, tarnish it and so on whack some of this on it, and this will put a barrier between your silver jewellery and your skin. Can reduce skin irritation due to silver. There you go, top tip. So just going to give these a wipe over with some alcohol. It's getting a short supply at the moment, so probably shouldn't be using it for its intended purpose. You should save it for, well, we all know what I'm talking about, don't we? So, in there, quick wipe over. Now, I didn't expect I was going to get you know, a glistening bling polish, etc., other than the chrome, but by giving it a polish and that kind of close, detailed inspection when you're working with it, it is good because you can then notice little things. So I've noticed that on this one, there's a little bit of marking in the chrome in this area here, and that the chroming is not very deep in this area here. And it sort of just flags up that, you know, when if I ever have the money, or I'm going to get bits chromed, then these would be something to whip off the bike and have them re-chromed as part of a full, you know, re-chroming of the bike, as it were. So there's those. I mean, not that this was really worth it, to be honest. It's all a bit pitted and rusted. I thought these came up nicely. These are stainless steel dome nuts, but they came out quite nicely with a bit of a polish. Yeah, there we are. That was it, wasn't it? Yeah, that was it. Okay. So I've never really shown how you use this Renaissance wax, and you know, not that you really need showing, to be honest. I mean, it's, you put a little bit on, and I do mean a little bit, just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. See that, and likewise, without putting any more on the rag, and you put it on. Very simple, clean rag, cleanish anyway. Put it on, leave it. And then in a minute or so, when I've got back around doing the other bits, we'll wipe it off. Simple as that. God, you do notice how many sharp edges are left on these things, do you know? When you start handling them like this. Jeez, ow. Again, some blemishes in the chrome on the bottom of this arm over here. You know, nothing major, but it's that kind of thing that, you know, if I've got the money in the future, but that's something to think about doing. And because I had the opportunity to inspect it, just did nuts, and I'll do the bolts as well while I'm here. And as it's a wax coating, etc., it reduces rusting and corrosion, those kinds of things. I mean, obviously on an outside vehicle, it might not necessarily last that long until we do. And I've not dipped this again, I'm just using what's left on there. Lots of scratches on the part just by itself, but you know, it will help reduce the corrosion on it. Help it look nice. Again, these are parts to, you know, send off and have re-chromed. I'm so chuffed I managed to find these. I really am. The originals are in a terrible state. Absolutely diabolical. But the failure of these parts is sort of in the design. You know, you've got this lip in here, that the top rubber sits on in there, which means all the water just catches here, and this is where they go, always right in there. Failure in the design, or design to fail. Look at that, that's nice and blingy. Look at that, look, love it. Okay, start to reassemble. And I'm going to whack some copper on this, just a bit of copper grease, nothing special, just to try and help it not corrode. Basically, going to completely cover the nut, the bolt, in a thin layer of copper grease all over. I've got spring washers on the end, washers and spring washers, so that should keep it nice and tight, and this should hopefully help these old bolts stay in good nick, because by the pitting on them, they're not, you know, they were getting quite badly corroded, or they were getting corroded sitting inside there over the time it's been there. So they pop in. Okay, so there's them done. So these this way up in there. Let's get this ready to be greased. Ball bearings greased, and the razor's greased on the frame. Let's go check out the frame. So I painted the frame, just the top end, etc. I'd like to paint that down as part of the frame and this part here, but I haven't got capacity and time, etc. I need to get it to a safe place. And turn that off. That looks all clean and tidy. I'll go light and I'll inspect under there as well. But there we are, it's looking pretty good. Okay, let's get this in the frame. So let's divide up our the ball bearings and get them greased up. Okay, 18 a piece. Right, I'm first going to grease the top race in the frame and put in the top ball bearings into the grease. I'll then grease this and place the balls on this and hopefully hold them in place, where I then insert it up inside the head and get this on and this on. So yeah, here we go. Right, so I'm going to fill the top and the bottom with a good amount of grease. If I had someone who could hold the camera, I'd show you, but I haven't, so you'll have to believe me when I say I'm just filling this with grease. So very carefully we're going to take this and we're going to shove it up gently and then get the top race on at the top. What could possibly go wrong? There we are. Right. Now when doing this up, the manuals refer to it being finger tight. That's really all you want. You don't want to wreck this up. So just before I do anything, making sure these are all pointing forward of course, I'm just going to move it about a bit between the stops just to get the grease moving around. And then I'm just going to gently do it up. There we are. I'm going to put these old ones on for now just because that's what I've got to hand. Now it doesn't matter which way the bottom bits go on, which way these go on, though I generally put them as an M on mine anyway, and I put those on towards the inside. And we will talk more about putting these on properly and the handlebars on later. Okay, not doing these tight because I need to adjust them when we're going to put them on the bike. Right, it's important not to do this up at all, so that these can move independently and that these are all loose, because now we're going to put the fork through and that will help straighten everything up. Mustn't forget the boots. To remember which side is which, this bit which goes to the mud guard heads to the back, and this should also be towards the back as well, the drain plug for the fork. Right, let's have a look at the wheel. So here we have the engagement area for the speedo drive, which I'm just going to clean and degrease, as it were. Right, there appears to be a sort of a rubbery element in there, which is interesting. I don't know whether this unit seems to sit in a sort of a bit of rubber, which is interesting. I didn't know that. A bit of the chrome's all peeling off the edges here, so I'm just going to give it a rub with some sandpaper just to maybe get rid of some of that chromey, hooky you in the fingers kind of stuff. Let's get this on the bike then, shall we? So this isn't the permanent fit because bits are going to have to come off. Probably put the brakes on, all the other bits and bobs. Doing that's a lot easier without the wheel in place. But we'll just put it together. Just that it's a bit safer than it is now. back on its wheels. The bike is back on its wheels, the yoke is attached, the forks are attached. We're getting there. We are getting there. Oh, wow. That was a bit of work. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that. Do hit the thumbs up, it really helps. Think about subscribing and watching this rebuild, etc. And if you've got any queries, questions or comments, do leave them below. I do read them all and I try to reply to as many as possible. But there we are, Honda CB200 front end nearly rebuilt. Cheers. Bye.